very special guest in the house as well. She is a young singer-songwriter. She's making her music debut, and we have her debut single called Anytime, Any Minute, and we're going to show you the video tonight. Along with her is the producer of this album. His name is Josh Egan, and he's a great friend of mine. You may remember Josh is also producing the phenomenal George Giovanni, who is one of our Animal House favorites. Please welcome for the first time on Animal House Radio, the lovely and talented Sharon Groom.
Hello. My first interview ever.
Yes, that's it. You broke your interview. You know what? I don't. This is a family show. I don't want the Falwells to get mad at me.
Oh no.
But I want to thank you for coming on, Sharon. It's a pleasure to do this for you. And I do anything for Josh and Georgia. They're very good people. And just the fact that I know that they recommended you, I know that it's automatic that you're a good person. And it's anything I could do to help the music industry right now, even though I can't sing a note or sing a tune, but I can help out in other ways. So you have a single out. It's going to be debuting tonight, Anytime, Any Minute, and with the forthcoming album, 2 Blocks South of Normal, which is an interesting story in itself. You got to tell me that story.
Okay, well, I used to live in this apartment building, and it was on Marathon in Vermont, in LA, and it's 2 blocks south of Normal. So people would always ask me, where do you live? And I'm like, 2 blocks south of Normal. So that was always
so
my
funny.
answer. Yeah.
It's funny. That sounds like the title, Josh. I was telling her earlier that sounds like the title to a comedy special. Like Ron White, 2 blocks south of Normal.
Yeah, actually.
But that's a great title. It's very catchy. So Sharon, this is your first ever experience in the music business. Give us the background. How did Sharon grow? How did you get involved in music? When did it start for you? Who were your influences? Give us the whole skinny.
Well, I grew up in a very musical family, and I have an older sister, and she is an amazing singer. And actually, I was the tap dancer in the family. I tap danced, and that's where I get my good rhythm from, though. I have to give that to my tap dancing. I always was making songs up when I was a little kid. I grew up in a Mennonite church with 4-part harmonies and no instruments. So I would sit and make up my own harmonies while I was in church and just make that stuff up. When I was about 4, my mom, her and her friend Phyllis, they started cleaning houses, and my mom saved money, and my sister, because she was 9 at the time, incredible voice. So my mom wanted to record that. So we went to Richmond, Virginia, recorded a gospel album, and I sang one song on it, and I sound like a chipmunk, but that was the first time I ever sang on anything. And then I played clarinet from 3rd to 8th grade, taught myself piano, and then I taught myself guitar, and it's like, oh, this is it. And I started writing songs, and I tried to sing like my sister, because she reminds me of Aretha Franklin when her pipes just open up.
Oh wow!
And she's awesome. She's such a great singer. And so I tried to sing like her for a long time, and then it took me a while to realize that I couldn't sing like her. She is she. So I found my own voice, and just been doing it. And I used to run open mic at the Rainbow Bar and Grill years ago.
Oh wow, I love that place. Yeah.
Yeah, I love community and helping other musicians and stuff just find their voice and stage and everything. So I did a lot of live shows, solo shows for years out here, and then I was like, I don't have a recording, so I just kind of stopped playing out, worked on my writing, and then Josh and I have known each other since 2003, so it started turning into something else, and eventually one day me and Josh were hanging out, and I don't think he realized that I actually wrote and sang music. Did you, Josh? I can't remember.
No, it was actually at your apartment.
Yeah.
2 blocks south of Normal.
It's true.
It was kind of weird because I ended up knowing a bunch of Sharon's friends. Yeah. And it was sort of like, remember Melrose Place, the TV show?
Oh, yeah.
That's sort of what it was. It was like a typical Hollywood kind of compound, and all the musicians lived there. and they were all really good musicians. Mike Sanders from One Tribe, you know, TJ, Chris Kleiner. It was a lot of musicians all in this thing, and Sharon was there. And I had met her, and they used to have these, you know, beer bong-a-thons all night, you know. It would be like, there'd be a keg, and the band would be playing until like 2, 3 in the morning, and God only knows how the police didn't come. But there'd be like in this apartment, there'd be a full band cranking with a Marshall stack, you know, but everybody in the whole complex was musicians, and they were all down there hanging. So I met Sharon, and it was interesting because one day it was Pete Swan and Lucy. We had come over to my apartment, and we were all just sitting around. And I remember Sharon just picked up an acoustic guitar and goes, "Oh, I want to play this song," and it was Yellow Feather.
Right.
And I remember that real vividly. Everybody, you could hear a pin drop, and that's when kind of everybody got kind of goosebumps and went, "Whoa!" Like, what was that? You know? And that was the moment we went, okay, so we got to do something. So that night we trekked it to my studio, and everybody plugged in, and we ended up recording All That I Wanted.
All That I Wanted. Yeah, that was the song. Yeah.
That night. But it was like, we literally went right to the studio and we go, we got to get you on a mic. And that was the first song of the records. That's how it happened. We heard it, and everyone went, wow, this is really good. We better do this now. So we did.
Oh, that's amazing. And, you know, Sharon, it's fantastic that you were self-taught all the instruments, and then you did a lot of the writing. Did you find that the writing came easy to you, or was that a little bit of a challenge?
So with guitar, when I write, some songs just come in just 5 minutes. It's just like, bam.
Right.
Other songs, I started expanding my songwriting when I started writing in Reason. Reason's a great tool for, you know, bass line, strings, and stuff like that. So when I got outside of the acoustic guitar, it really opened me up to writing other types of music. And I forgot what your question was. I'm sorry.
She didn't study for her test, Josh. I don't know.
Sorry, my brain just went.
No, it was you self-taught. You were self-taught with the instruments, but the writing, it's sometimes it was easy, and other times it was a challenge.
Yeah, exactly. So a lot of times when I write, I'll just use a drum beat or a bass line or a guitar riff or something. And I wrote a lot of poetry when I was in high school. But then when I started writing music, I can't write poetry unless there's music now.
Yeah, I was never good with the poetry. My stuff sounded like the Little Rascals. Oh, Miss Crabtree. But who were your musical influences growing up, Sharon? Who did you like? What music did you favor?
Well, I listened to a lot of stuff. So when I was a kid, my mom and I would go to estate sales and find 20s and 30s music.
Oh, wow.
And I would tap dance to that. So there's a lot of swing and jazz and stuff that has influenced a lot of my melodic lines. And then, I listened to my mom and dad's 50s and 60s records and 70s records and stuff. And then, I listened to everything. I love Sting. Sting is a really great artist. He's definitely been an influence. I definitely love those Indigo Girls back in the day because of the guitar and the harmonies and things like that. I grew up in Dave Matthews territory, actually. So that was interesting. But it's really hard to just say who my influences are, because when I listen to music, I just hear melody and harmony. That's the first thing that hits me. So if it's a good song, it's a good song.
Right. Good music is good music. You're absolutely right.
Yeah.
And so, Josh, what went into the recording, the producing of this single and the album? What can people expect when they buy it and listen to it?
It's a journey. The whole record is it's very eclectic, and that was sort of a challenge, but it was cool because Sharon was kind of in a lot of directions, and she had so many tunes that it wasn't like, oh, we had 10 and this was it. We probably had 40 that we were looking through, so we had to pick, well, this works. And the styles are very polar opposite, but we had to kind of find that thread between one tune might be trip hop, One tune might be a little more Americana. One tune might be way more R&B. Some of them are folk. Some of them are like a Muscle Shoals. So there's a blues influence. So production wise, it was very interesting because we tried to find a common thread, and we kept a lot of the same musicians through the record to keep that sound.
Consistency, right?
Very much so. I mean, we kept the same core group of people. There were some personnel changes along the way, but I was very, very happy with like how it turned out, and I mean, some tunes like we had James Zoda Baker on guitar, who played beautifully on the record. He was sort of a constant thread through the whole thing, and he would just come up with really gorgeous counterpoint stuff and really melodic things, and the sound just really meshed. And bass wise, we were blessed because we had Jimmy Haslip from Gino Vanelli and the Yellow Jackets on it.
Oh,
We
wow.
had T.J. Armstrong, Chris Kleiner, Jesse Vasquez, from Seven Angels was on it. And so we had just great players, and Danny and Alfredo Reyes, the Reyes brothers, were playing on the record. And I wanted like on the tune Big Daddy that'll be coming out, we sort of a retro trip hop thing. We're like, man, I want a Miles Davis muted horn. And, Jimmy Haslip sitting there, Jimmy goes, I got the guy, I'll call Sal Marquez. And Sal was the lead trumpet player for Frank Zappa and the Mothers of Invention.
Oh, wow. Yeah. You pulled out all the stops for this one, huh?
Everybody. I mean, and then Dave Carlock is on this, who's a monster. Oh, yeah. David worked with everybody in the business. I met him when we did Pink's record. And Dave did just a knockout string chart and a killer job on it. And I mean, the tune that'll be coming after this one, Soldier Boy, Jesus, it had 168 tracks. It was insane. Choir. I mean, the choir it had the orchestra. It was just like,
I never heard of that before. That's got to be that's
well, yeah, and it was intense. So we're like, okay, well, and this is why it took so long, because we're going, well, I hear a march intro because it's Soldier Boy, So
right, of course.
So I had to stack snare drums. So it was like, I don't know, 16 tracks of field military drums. I'm playing military snare drums, a cadence going in and out. And then there's the orchestra and the choir. And it was just like, I felt bad when John Cranfield was mixing. I mean, he was like pulling his hair out with it. Was like, it was max. There was no more room for anything. But so that's the record. It's just like, we went, hey, you want to do this? Cool. Okay. And that sort of thing. So it takes you like a record, like an old Pink Floyd record. You go, well, what's the single? The whole record. Really? It's like,
oh, yeah.
It's a journey, and that's what I miss. It's something that I can't say who, because they'll probably go, you quoted me, but a very famous rock and roll star of a punk band was in the studio working next door, and you know who it is, Sharon. Mm-hmm. And he goes, I want this CD. He goes, I want to drive to Vegas and put this in. And that was when I went, wow. I mean, they're one of the biggest punk rock bands in the world. And he goes, I got to have this and listen to this, because he flipped out. He'd hear us every night in the studio. So that was a cool thing. And I went, yeah, this is a really great record. And I think when people hear it cover to cover, they're going to get who Sharon is, Right. So I'm really proud of it. I'm really proud of this one.
So when you say that it's eclectic, so no two songs are the same. They're both, I mean, the styles they're fluctuating on every single, essentially. Is that what you're saying?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. That's amazing. Was that a challenge for you to do, Sharon? To like, it's usually when you're doing an album, it's all usually one, straight-laced formula. But was this a little bit of a challenge for you, going from a different style and on arrangements and everything?
Actually, no, because I let songs write themselves. So every song has its own genre. If that makes sense? So when I write something, like, I mean, I think my goal is I would love to see film and TV placement with this record, because I feel like there's a lot of things that are relatable in it for people. But most of the songs were already finished when we got together, and then there was a couple that I needed to finish, like Soldier Boy. I had to I had to sit down and really make that song work, because I'd been sitting on the chorus for a very long time thinking it was the verse, and it wasn't until it was the chorus that I realized, okay, I can finish the song now. So I don't know. It's been really awesome, because I mean, I play guitar. I have my writing skills, but then Josh with his amazing drums, and then bringing all of these amazing musicians to bring their point of views in to this project, it just worked perfectly. Like, we had the right cast.
Yeah, when you get the chemistry and everybody gels together, there's no better feeling, especially when you're in the studio, I can imagine.
Yes.
Now earlier, Sharon, that you said that you had so many songs, and how was it hard? Was it hard to figure out which ones to do? Because you said you were writing for years and years, and you had all these songs piled up. How did you make the decision? Oh, let's do this one, or
Well, we sat down. I mean, I had some songs that we were going to put on the record, but they were a little bit too much pop rock, and they didn't fit the eclectic and the dark vibe. Like, this is a very dark, vibey record. Every song is in a minor key except for one.
oh wow,
Yeah. So I like Dorian. I guess I like minor modes and stuff like that. I find them to be a lot more interesting. And I also, I look at notes and stuff as like, emotions. So as far as putting this record together, it was just what songs we felt. I mean, Josh and I made this decision together as to which songs we felt would work best with the record.
Well, that's amazing.
Yeah.
For when people listen to this album, or start when they hear the singles, and eventually the album will be rolled out, what do you want them to take away from it musically? What message do you want to portray for your music, or do you want them to feel you want it to be different song by song?
Well, I tend to have bipolar writing, in the sense that things can be rough, because that's how I deal and cope with hard situations in my life. But there's always a light at the end of the tunnel, and this too shall pass. So just like COVID, I mean, it's funny, because anytime, any minute, when I wrote that, the apartment that I was living in 2 blocks south of Normal had toxic mold in it, and my bathroom was falling through my neighbor's ceiling. And I was going through some really, really just hard lessons in life. And yeah, that's how that song kind of came about.
Oh my God.
And but it's like, at the end, it's like, I won't let you in. I am omnipotent. I can get through this. So you think about the state of the world right now. Everybody is kind of, everyone's stuck at home because of COVID. There's a lot of things going on. There's just a lot of darkness.
Yeah,
And
is that a big adjustment for you to have to stay put? And because you seem like you're shot out of a cannon, and I love that about you. You're high energy, and believe me, that's a compliment.
Thank you.
But it does. I would imagine it would spark a lot of creativity for you to write more. No.
Well, actually, it's been very hard. I've just been focusing on trying to get this record out. So I'm an extrovert, very much an extrovert. I love people. Like, I embrace people. And so being stuck at home is definitely not fun for me at all. So it's just, I've just been focusing on getting this part out. I mean, I've got so many songs. I mean, I do have a lot of half-written stuff in my computer right now. So, but I don't know. This is exciting to finally release this record.
Yeah, and this is that, and for those of you just joining us, we're speaking with Sharon Groom, singer-songwriter. She's making her debut as a musician, and her single we're going to play in a few minutes, and the forthcoming album, 2 Blocks South of Normal. I'm going to say that all night now. That's going to be my new catchphrase, because let me tell you something. There's a lot of people lately in this country who are 2 blocks south of Normal.
There's a lot of fun meaning all throughout this record. I mean, I really do want people to take each song and make it their own, as to their own experience. So.
Oh, absolutely. Now, are you going to eventually get you said your sister has a terrific voice. Do we see a duet in your future?
Man, I would love that. I love my sister so much. That would be amazing. I mean, I used to harmonize with her all the time. Like, I will take a backseat to my sissy any day.
Oh.
She's awesome.
That's great. All right, so let's take a look at Sharon. It's a new single. This is the video. It's available. It's up on YouTube. But this is Anytime, Any Minute. That's amazing. You know what? I saw I didn't watch the video purposely because I wanted to save my
Aw.
reaction, but I was blown away. It's like perfectly orchestrated. I mean, and I like how you go all Clint Eastwood. I won't let you win. You feel lucky, punk? That's so great, though. I think you should be proud of it, and I
Oh,
was
thank
happy that
you.
we got a chance to let everybody see your work.
Oh, thank you. I really appreciate it, and I really appreciate you having me on the show. And I'm, I have to say, a lot of people never got my vision or understood me, but Josh did. He
Josh is a
like,
good guy. He's all right.
yeah, he got it. He
He's just got to
totally
learn how to use
understood.
his computer a little bit and get his sound straight. But he's a good guy.
What?
What is the message in that song? Anytime, any minute, because it seems like I like the whole Wizard of Oz hourglass thing too.
Oh, isn't that cool? I got that
Yeah,
at Ross. It's cool. I found it. I was like,
I
oh,
like that.
that's
What,
cool.
what what is that song about? Anytime, any minute.
That was when I was living in that apartment. So I was in like I said, there was mold in it. I was getting sick, couldn't figure out why. And I
Oh
think
wow.
I just lost my job because of health issues related to the apartment. I was in a really toxic, awful relationship, and just everything in my life just seemed like it was falling apart. And I was just like, okay, life is really crappy right now. We're gonna
Yeah,
tell
yeah.
myself.
No, I
Um,
don't blame you.
and yeah, so I just felt like the whole world was falling down, and I just felt really alone and just isolated and things like that. And so that's how that song came about. But I'm in such a much better place now. I mean, some years have passed, but I mean, again, the message is this too shall pass. You can get past all of that stuff. Sometimes
Uh,
life gets hard.
Absolutely, and that's the philosophy we all have to carry with us, especially nowadays.
Mm-hmm.
The past is in the past, and it's in the rearview mirror, and that's all that matters. But I see
Yes.
a lot of great things for you in the future, and
Oh, thanks.
Josh, let me ask you now. With when can is there like a set date for that whole album to be completed, or you're just rolling out singles right now?
Uh, we're basically going to put a couple more singles out. Soldier Boy will be coming out for Veterans Day.
Oh, on
And
the 11th. Okay.
yeah,
Mhm.
and
It
that, and
actually will
that
come out Friday the 6th, right before
the
Veterans Day.
6th.
Oh, okay. Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
It's going to come out ahead of time. And then, yes, there's going to be a couple more singles. I mean, the record is really is deep, on the listening scale. So there's going to be a few more singles before the record's done. I mean, it's done, mastered in the can, ready to go, and we're going to put it on vinyl as well.
Oh,
Uh,
cool.
it just takes a little while, especially with COVID, to do everything.
Yeah.
Everything's a little longer, and certain tunes have a video. Certain ones we won't be able to do a video. And as always, guess who did the video on this one?
Josh and Georgia, actually. We did that down at the studio.
Georgia again. I mean, she's over
So
there working
talented.
miracles on all these projects. So it's kind of
Yeah.
like she's ping ponging and then trying to get her video done, So she's ping ponging and we're trying to orchestrate, how we can get all the singles done. And Soldier Boy would have loved to have done a video, but to be honest, I don't think we could have.
I think so.
I think it's one of those tunes that's best left
Yeah.
alone.
Let the music speak. Yeah. No, I understand that. Yeah.
Yeah.
But and
So
I
we're
know without even hearing the song yet, that our men and women who listen to our show every week are gonna love the song.
yeah.
Now, is this like I haven't heard it, I haven't had a chance to listen to it yet, but is this an original or is this a take off of the this is an original song,
This
right?
is an
Okay.
original song. It is an anthem, actually.
Okay.
Yeah. It's
Okay. This can be the next like the God Bless the USA type of song. So
yeah.
Well,
It's basically a story, but it's to bring awareness to veteran mental health awareness. So I just not being just being a civilian. I've never been in war. I've never seen any of that. And, having grown up around a lot of military families in Virginia, I'm just like, how can we relate after they've been through so much and they're, going through all of that? We're here, we're being free, but you guys have been fighting for our freedom and suffering for it. So
Yeah.
I just, just want to bring awareness and thank all the servicemen and women for everything they've done.
Yeah.
Because I mean, we wouldn't be where we are without y'all. So
Oh, absolutely. The music is so important right now because the music reaches places that medicine can't go, and I think it's uplifting the whole country. And
Mhm.
I know I know you got to be anxious to get out on the road and start performing all these great songs and
oh,
stuff, and
I
hopefully
would
you
love
guys
that.
get to come to the Northeast and visit with us because we'd love to have you out here. Now, Sharon, you told me earlier that you grew up near a naval base or something.
Yeah, I grew up in Gloucester, Virginia, and so that's right north of Williamsburg, Yorktown. And I actually I was a contractor for the Navy back in the early 2000s, working at the Naval Weapons Station.
Oh
And
wow!
Really?
yeah,
I
I
never
thought
knew this.
you didn't know this.
No.
See that? We
Not
heard it here first,
you heard
folks.
it here
I,
first.
wow.
Yeah, and then
I'm impressed.
9/11 happened, and then about half of the team got let go. Budget reasons. The Navy needed money for other things, and
Yeah.
so then I came back out to LA because I'd lived in LA for like 3.5 years, and I was home for about a year and a half before I came back out. So that's what I did when I was home. Yeah.
Well, you weren't even doing music at that time. You were
I
just a working
was.
stiff. Yeah. Oh, you were.
I was working, and then I was in a little band with some friends, and we play Starbucks and a few little places around Newport News and stuff like that. So yeah, that was fun.
That's very cool.
Yeah,
I didn't. Let's see. How, Josh? How did you not know this? You're supposed to be
yeah. I
in.
thought you knew
I
this.
thought, weren't you in intelligence or something?
No, I don't. Believe me, if I was intelligent, I wouldn't be a drummer. Hey, tip your bartenders and waiters. Okay. No. I've done environmental. I'm a defense contractor. I've had a defense contracting company forever, and so yeah. I mean, I've dealt with the military for eons, and all my stuff goes over to Iraq, and probably a lot of people listening, if they go on their base and they look in their spill stuff, that's me. That's my company.
Oh wow, that's cool.
Yeah. So when 9/11 happened, I remember I was getting the phone calls from the military going, hey, can you get this? And can you get this? And we need this. Cause I knew, pardon my French, the shit was hitting the fan, and everybody was launching out. And that's why, I mean, as far as like, music and a platform and everything, but Soldier Boy was real special, I think, to both of us because, Sharon and both of us, we have that connection to the military and, and the respect factor. And I think, I'm not going to be political, but in recent history, the military hasn't got the credit it deserves. And the men,
it never has really.
it never has. And the men and women that dedicate their lives to keep us safe, as you have, deserve everybody's respect. And they should be honored. And when they come home, they should be treated as such.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I mean, they should be. And that's why this tune it's really is near and dear. It's something that really, it's heart wrenching because you see what the families go through. You see not just the soldiers, everybody that's touched by it.
Well, it's a trickle effect when something happens like that. It's not just. And I think that once the single is released, and I'm excited to hear it, that it will be an homage to the men and women who, and I think they appreciate it, and just like they appreciate it. Like when we have celebrities on and they watch their TV shows, because like I've stated in the last interview, some of these people are in areas that the bottom can drop out at any minute. So any little respite, whether it be music or TV or anything that they can get, and it brings them home or invokes a happy memory, that's a home run for them. And Sharon, I know you're going to be an integral part of that now and going forward in your career.
Oh, thank you.
know.
I don't know what to say, honestly.
No, I'm just honored that I was your first interview. And when you become a big star and I need backstage passes, Carlo, who?
Who are you talking about? I'd be like, Carlo.
Don't you remember me from Virginia? I'm from Virginia. The Falwell sent me. No, I'm just kidding. So where is if they want to check out your website, Sharon, and find out more things about you, where can they go?
My website is just SharonGroom.com.
Sharon
So,
Groom.
and
And
then
throw out your social media too.
I'm on Instagram, Sharon Groom Music at Sharon Groom Music, and also Facebook at Sharon Groom Music.
Oh
And
wow.
you can find me on LinkedIn. I'm Sharon Groom.
Sharon Groom. Josh, anything else I didn't cover? Because I want to make sure I do you, because you're my main man. You and George are like, you're like Hollywood's new power couple.
Nah, we're we're just trying to keep everything going. I mean, this is a real dark time, through everything. It can be really depressing, and we're just trying to be focused and positive and bring out artists and music. And I think people need to feel connected right now. And I'm really proud of this record. I think this record's going to connect with a lot of people on a lot of levels. So, I mean, it was a lot of labor of love that went into this. This has been a long time coming. So I'm really proud, and I'm anxious. I'm anxious to see how this all turns out. But I have a lot of faith, pardon the pun, in Sharon Faith Groom.
No. I mean, you have to.
It's
I
her
think.
middle name. It was a really bad pun.
Yeah,
No,
my
that's
middle
okay.
name is Faith. My mom's first name is Faith. Yeah.
Oh wow, that's
Yeah.
amazing. It's mission accomplished on this album, on this record, on the single. If this is any indication of what's to come, it's definitely going to be a force to be reckoned with. And like I said, there's anything we can do, Josh, anything you need, you just got to say the word. And Sharon, you
Thank you.
are a delight. I
Oh, thank
can't
you.
wait to see you perform again. I want to see you. I can't wait to see you perform live and see all these songs and the whole album come to life, and continued success. And
Thank
above
you.
all, please, especially during this time, stay safe. And I encourage everybody. The single is the when can they actually buy it,
Oh, they can
Josh?
buy it now.
They can buy it now, and they can go on. Can they get it
Yeah.
on your website, or go to Amazon, or?
Amazon, iTunes, it's all out, and then they can stream it on Spotify. So I mean, we're hoping that like 1 million people do it, so we can make $4,000.
Yeah.
Did I say that?
Hey, shameless promotion. No, that's what it's all about.
Yeah.
But, please support these artists. Go to Spotify and look up Sharon Groom, guys. It's right now we need to support the arts, and like I said, and Josh just mentioned, right now we need to all feel connected, and I think we are doing that. Artists are all doing stuff, putting stuff out, even though we're stuck home. And a lot of the, even though there's a negative with this pandemic, a lot of positivity is coming out of it. Although it took this virus to bring it out, I think the nation is coming together a little bit. There's a little social unrest everywhere, but I think as a whole, I think people like you, Sharon, who put out this music, it's so positive. And I just, between you and Georgia, you ladies are going to be role models for years to come.
Aw. Well, hey, if me and Georgia can, because I love Georgia. Her first single was really great.
She is, and you are both amazing. And like I said, I see nothing but great things in both your futures, because you have a light inside you that you don't see very often anymore. I don't see the passion in the music, and I don't mean to discredit any of the artists, but I just don't see a lot of it anymore like I used to. Like when I go to see bands that I grew up watching, Def Leppard and Foreigner and Judas Priest, and
Yeah.
what amazes me is that there's 6 generations of people going to their shows. When when they first started, there was only one generation. To have generations transcend decades, that's got to be a testament to the artists themselves, and I see that happening for you in Georgia.
Thank you. That's awesome. That's a huge
lot of
compliment.
I think a lot of it too is being that we all know that the money end of it is really it just is the music business, the entertainment business has been in a real dire strait for a long time. But to do these kind of records, they're expensive. I mean, they really are. I mean, they're not like, hey, let's just go, throw some beats down and a couple samples and away we go. I mean, this project was years in the making. I mean, there's full range of everybody on it, and all the records and video, and and that in the end, you're not going to recoup. I mean, I'm just being honest. It's a truthful thing. You know what the outlay is. I know what our outlay is on each of these records, and it's like the Titanic, and we're sitting there playing on the bow, going, "We're still playing while the ship's sinking."
Right, right.
But it's because you love it. It's because there's got to be quality art in the world, and even if financially you take a hit putting it out, as somebody that's done it on my end for all these years, I'm obliged, and I think every artist is obliged to have a voice and put it out, because the people need that. They need to have good quality music and entertainment that's out there, especially now. It can't be a flash in the pan and disposable. They need to see something that is a large record label budget type thing come out. And that's what we're doing. We're trying to put large record budget records out and do them on shoestrings, but by the grace of God, we're doing them. So,
And you're doing a fantastic job, Josh. And I tell you, unfortunately, there's no such thing as that traditional record label anymore with the A&R guy and everything. Those days are gone. And the whole irony of it is, I noticed that years ago, when you had a band, say 70s or 80s, you used to have to sell records to tour. Now
Right.
you have to tour to sell records.
yeah,
The whole thing is flip flopped, and
It's backwards.
yeah, and it's a labor of love right now. But you know what? Listen, you're doing something really good. All it takes is one song to hit, and then it makes it all worth it. And then it all comes, and then the awards start rolling in, and then my phone calls don't get returned. It's a vicious cycle.
no, but I got T-Mobile. Nobody's phone calls get returned. Trust me. Oh shit! I think I blew that sponsorship.
There you go. That's it. T-Mobile. That's it.
T-Mobile and Sprint are off our sponsor list.
So Sharon, what do you want to say as a closing message to all the people that will hear your music, and the people, for the men and women overseas, and for the people, the essential workers, who there is actually a gentleman here who is a big fan of the show. He's actually one of the big, he lives in England, and he's an
Aw.
essential worker.
Awesome.
And he works in a hospital, and I give this kid so much credit. His name is Rob McCullough. He's actually watching us now. And
Hi, Rob.
Rob works in a hospital, Sharon, and he is up to his knees in COVID patients, cleaning up after him, being exposed to them. And I don't know how he does it. And he, just as much as the servicemen and women deserve our thanks, so do these essential workers. So is there one message that you'd like to give out about your music, about yourself, and about a positive message that we can all, carry forward?
Oh, wow. You're putting me on the spot.
There you go.
Well, as far as the message of my music, I just hope that it brings people joy and that they enjoy listening to it, and it's something different that they haven't listened to. I think that's another reason why this record is 2 blocks south of normal, because it's its own thing. But I want to say thank you to especially all the essential workers. I have talked to a couple of ER nurses and doctors, and I've seen them break down and cry because they're just so overwhelmed. And, my gosh, I wish I could hug and take care of all of them and make them feel better, because then, that's kind of who I am. I like to take care of people. I just want to thank everybody for all the hard work and everything that they've done, because, we wouldn't be able to get through what we get through without them. And as far as all the servicemen and women out there, gosh, for years, I've been very thankful for everything you guys do. And I just hope that my record, when it finally all comes out, I'm sure there's going to be a favorite for everybody. And that's something I've already experienced from people that have heard it. Everyone has their own favorite, and they're all different. So hopefully there's something for everybody there.
Well,
Yeah.
before I let you go, I got to ask you one question. Now,
Sure.
you're working on this album. Time comes that you're going to do another album. Are you going to continue with this formula, with the eclectic mix, or you're going to try different things?
I've been writing some really kind of interesting electronic type stuff lately. That's just
What do you
kind
mean,
of
like
sort of
dance
half
music,
written.
or?
No, not necessarily. Strange and oddly enough, I like writing to hip hop beats. I don't write
Oh
hip
wow.
hop,
Okay.
but
All
I
right.
like the groove. I like and in Time Any Minute, it's like I like that kind of groove, you know.
Right.
But I have some other songs that are more in the pop rock vein. But I have a feeling no matter what record I put out, it's probably going to be eclectic.
Okay. That's always going to be. That's going to be your signature, and that's great. That's
Yeah, there's
it's going to be your own thing. Because I like that. Because when you listen to an album, whether no matter what genre it is, you want every song to be different. You know what I'm saying? And that's a hard thing to pull off. And I
yeah.
know Josh, as a producer, that's got to be a difficult task to make it not that all the songs just don't blend together and sound the same. That's got to be the hardest part about producing an album, I would imagine.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. It is because they go, well, when they're asking when you put it out, well, what genre is it? And there's that big,
That question.
and you go, it's I don't know, what do you want to call it? It is what it is, and it is hard because every tune you'll hear, it's not just a genre. When you're putting a record together, it's sort of a flow, like a
Right.
story. It's like a movie. So each thing segues to another, and it creates a long tapestry. So you're trying to weave it together where the grooves segue nicely to each other, the tunes segue nicely. The key that they're in is really important, because you don't want clashes. When they're coming in, the next song is a harmonic clash. So all of a sudden, there's all these things that come into play when you're putting a record together. And I go back to the when Sharon did it originally. Just very, very quickly to answer that, because I looked at this kind of pile and I'm thinking, how do we do this? There were 3 tunes that stood out in my head. She played Yellow Feather, then there was Incense, which you'll hear, and then there was Big Daddy. And those were the 3 tunes, and they were very trip hop and vibey, and they were eclectic and beatnik, and I mean, just very like off. And I loved it. It had this real different vibe. So those were the first 3 we started on, and we created that sound. And that was the core of the center of the record. And then everything went one to the other, but it had to come back within that realm. And I go back to crediting the musicians
Right.
on that record again. I mean, James Baker just played beautifully on it. It was
You had some heavy talent on this record. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, and James is a monster guitar player. He was with Edgar Winter and War, and I mean, James is an excellent musician and came in and played beautifully on it. And the work with that original few tracks was Chris Kleiner and Jimmy Haslett,
Right.
and that kind of framed that whole thing. And then Danny and Walfredo, and it was that sort of mix of sound, and that gave us. You have to find a when it's something so far out, you have to find center somewhere. So that was our center for the record, and that's where we kept going back to. That's home. So even if we went way far out here, we'd have to tether it back to that, and that might be instrumentation wise, so that the sound is familiar on something on a whole completely different groove. So yeah, that presented a long process of how do we do this. And I don't know if I'd want to be that adventurous again.
Hey, well, that's where the gold comes from. It's like improving, you never know what can happen. But
Yeah.
I mean, you're talented enough to pull it off. And Sharon, once again, you have an amazing voice.
Oh, thank you.
I have a feeling that you're going to have an amazing career. And I just want you to know the door is always open for you. And I really encourage everybody here to go on Spotify, go on iTunes, go on Amazon and pick up her single, download it, show your support for the love of the arts. I know, listen, I know everybody, money is tight for everybody right now, but if you can show your love, and you know what, it's like paying it forward. It's good karma. You help out someone who's an amazing artist, and then good things will happen. That's my philosophy. Whether it works or not, we'll see. But SharonGroom.com. And Sharon, thank you for allowing me to be your first.
Oh, thank you.
And don't get the wrong idea, people. But and Josh, as always, thank you, my friend.
Oh, Carlo, thank you, bro, so much.
Yeah.
But and I want to thank everybody who was listening, on the American Forces Network, and all our supporters here. We'll see you all tomorrow night. We have another show, and Thursday night. It's going to be a good time. We'll see you all next time right here on Animal House Radio.